motorbike was invented in 1894 and its two wheels have always lured riders to the freeness, rebellion and danger that came with owning a bike.
Well, I've just bought myself a little Kawasaki ER500 which after a long layoff of biking I've decided to get back into it, and I thought this would be a good start off point. As you can see, it's just an oldish bike, but it'll do me just to get started again.
My name's John. I've ridden down here today from Hastings in this gorgeous weather. This motorcycle here is the BMW R1150 RS. Very good bike. As you can see, it's not exactly a race bike, but it's perfect for the road. Heated grips, very useful on a day like this. No chain, so nothing to mess about with, and very, very comfortable. Can travel large distances on this bike in very good levels of comfort. Really, for all round use, I think this is the best bike you can get.
Yeah, John, I totally agree. It's a lovely bike, and it's got some lovely specifications on it, and it's something I want to work into later on. But
yeah, well, it is something to aim towards. It's a very good bike. As I say, I think it's a road bike. You can't really beat it.
Yeah, and touring as well on the continent and everything like that, it'd be ideal. So what's your opinion on the ER500 Kawasaki?
Well, as you say, I mean, it's a fairly basic bike, used a lot by training schools.
Yeah,
they are very robust, obviously. I think that's why they chose them. Yeah. I mean, really, I'm quite surprised it's not more economical, because it's a relatively small engine. And again, as I say, used by a training school, you would have thought they'd get more mileage out of it. It's light, I imagine. Reasonably cheap to run, because it's open, should be easy to work on by someone who's got half an idea with a set of spanners, really.
Yeah, okay. Hi, John, should we get going then on the old ride down towards Hastings?
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay, mate.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's make it.
Summer is a high point in bikers' years, but as the season comes to an end, the two of us decide to ride from Rye to Eastbourne for one last ride before the winter storage. And along the way, we'll try and find the best road to get the full experience of being at one with the bike.
Stopped off at Hastings to have lunch and a chat about the era of the mods and the rockers, and how the seaside towns became a magnet for bikers on bank holidays. The old mods and rockers used to come to Hastings back in the 60s.
Yeah, for a quick punch up.
Yeah, it was in those days. Biking was a bit like that, wasn't it? You had one gang of mods and the other gang of rockers with their old scooters and stuff.
Yeah. You've got one set of lads, didn't you, all dressed up with their suits and...
Yeah, they were the mods, weren't they?
They were the mods.
Yeah, with lots of mirrors and chrome and bits and pieces.
Yeah, funny Parkers with long backs.
Crombies. I remember sort of seeing photos of the old drain pipes and stuff like that. Yeah, and the crepe shoes and stuff. Yeah. I'm too young for all that, but I remember my brother back in those days. He had an old BSA A10, He got picked up by the police on that, But biking in those days wasn't very sort of, how can we say, good, really, in that respect. Police sort of had a love-hate relationship with bikers, didn't they? It's more sort of a pleasure thing today, isn't it?
Well, it certainly seems to be. I mean, I think back in those days, I think people were seen as a bit of an outlaw if they had a bike.
That's right, yeah. Greasy yob. wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and
yeah.
I mean, obviously, I am far too young to have been around then, but
Yeah.
I still remember when I started biking when I was 16, 17, and so that's early 80s, very early 80s. There were lots of pubs that wouldn't let bikers in. They had signs up, no bikers allowed.
Yeah.
You get turned away from places.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to be like that here anymore. But I still think there's a bit of a hangover of like public perception of bikers in this country, which does tie back to all that
those
trouble.
days. Yeah.
Yeah, when
It's
seaside
ingrained.
resorts like
Yeah.
Hastings here and Brighton, they'd come down regularly
Yeah.
and create all sorts of trouble.
Yeah.
I think that still hangs on a little bit. But I mean, these days, I mean, they come down, don't they? Every
Summer.
May,
Yeah.
bank holiday.
Yeah. Very
and-
little trouble. No trouble. I've not heard any trouble really. A lot of them do charity work now, don't they?
Raising a lot of money for charity.
Yeah.
They bring a lot of money into the town because most of them can't carry anything on the bike, so they buy all their food here.
Yeah. Bringing revenue into the town, like you say. Yeah. It's very positive now.
Yeah.
Rather than
It's
negative.
more of a family thing now. I think a lot of our friends bring their kids down to have a look at the bikes.
Yeah.
Everyone rides down here and they end up looking at each other's bikes.
They certainly do. Yeah.
You know, and also I think the ages of people, the average age of people is actually more like our age.
Yeah. They call them the greys now on the motorbikes, don't they?
Yeah.
Don't they?
Yeah.
So, well, that wasn't a bad breakfast, John. Where
No?
are we going to head from here?
Well,
Any ideas?
yeah, it's a really nice road, takes over to Beachy Head, along Gatway.
That sounds good to me.
Let's
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
go.
I've had numerous bikes ranging from 50cc mopeds right up to 1000cc BMWs and enjoy the thrills of the twists and turns in the roads.
I've been riding for 29 years, passed my test on my 16th birthday and passed my advanced test on my 17th birthday, and I actually haven't been off a bike since. The sheer pleasure of just riding a bike on the road, there's nothing better for me than just being out there in the environment, not separated from the environment like you are in a car.
After 3 hours of driving, we were finally at the road on top of Beachy Head, where we can get the thrill of the twists and turns of a good road.